Hi, I'm Heather with First Pioneers Federal Credit Union, and welcome to the Money Tips No One Told You podcast. Here at First Pioneers, we love helping you understand your finances better and giving you the tools you need to be financially successful. Here, we're going to talk about financial terminology, how different accounts work. We're going to share tips that make your financial life easier, and so much more. Are you ready to dive in? So in the past couple of episodes, we've talked about a few things that come up in the first part of a new year, but a couple that we haven't talked about yet are things like taxes, your tax returns, and often people get work bonuses after the first of the year. And that brings us to the subject of savings, which I know we talk about savings a lot here because, well, it's that important. And it really can change your financial journey. Today, what I want to talk about is the many ways you can save at First Pioneers in particular. Now, let me quickly clarify something. The types of accounts that we offer and that we're going to discuss today are somewhat typical of what you would find at most financial institutions, but I'm going to be discussing what's offered at First Pioneers in particular, so just keep that in mind. Now, as we get started on this, I want to make sure to note one thing. I suspect many of you have heard about the FDIC. That's the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And what they do is they supply deposit insurance to depositors in American depository institutions. Now, what does that mean? Well, that's basically a fancy way of saying they insure your deposits at your bank. Now, at credit unions, loss is covered by the NCUA, and that stands for National Credit Union Administration. It's also a department of the U.S. government, and they insure your deposits up to $250,000. Now let's get into the types of accounts you can use to save. At First Pioneers, there are basically 6. The first one is a basic savings account. And this is actually the type of account required for membership at the credit union. You simply deposit $5 into your regular savings account for your membership to begin. And of course, that money will always need to remain in the account for you to be in good standing. But you can then start depositing and using the account for your savings. Just keep that $5 in there. And of course, you can then build on that if you need to and open other savings accounts. Let me ask you something. Did you know that you can have multiple savings accounts? I'm not sure people always understand that. I've actually had people say to me, oh, I didn't know I could have multiple. And really, you can have as many as you need. Let's say you want to save for a car. So you want to save a down payment. You can open up an additional account just for that money. Having that money in a separate account often makes it easier to save and reach that specific goal. I have a friend who recently did this for their wedding. I've seen others save for a baby, in that they knew they would need to purchase some things for the baby and possibly miss some work. And of course, they would have some extra medical bills. So they saved up for it by using a separate account. And often, if that money is not in your regular account, maybe your checking account, and it maybe takes a couple of extra steps to get to it, I find you're more likely to sort of leave it alone and let it build up until you need it. Because let's be honest, if that money was sitting in your checking account, how likely is it that you would spend it? Even if for no other reason, but you just kind of didn't realize you had done it until the money was gone. So you can open multiple accounts for multiple needs if you wish. At First Pioneers, there's even an ATM card available for your savings account. That's if you don't already have a debit ATM card with us that's attached to your checking account. Maybe you just have a savings account. Well, that way you can still access your savings account through that ATM with this card. You can also use online banking or a mobile app to make transfers or be able to access your money. So I guess I should back up and say that there are advantages both ways here, both that it takes a couple extra steps to get to the money and that there's an ease of getting to it. allowing you to keep your money separate in this way, and that there's a couple steps involved to get to the money. Again, that may help you reach your goals easier. But then when you're ready, there's a variety of ways that you can get to the money when it's time. These types of savings accounts do gain interest. Now, admittedly, it is often a lower interest rate than some other accounts, but it does gain nonetheless. So, it's better than having the money just sitting around your house in a coffee can, right? Plus, you've got that insurance from the NCUA that we mentioned before. So it's definitely safer with a credit union than at your home. The second type of account I want to talk about is a money market savings. Here at First Pioneers, we called it l'argent account because that means money or silver in French. So it's a fun little tie to our French heritage in the Lafayette area. And for those of you that speak French or Cajun French and know that I just pronounced that horribly, please forgive me. Pronunciation may not be great, but the account actually really is. Some people say a money market account, the great thing about it is it's sort of an in-between account. It's in between a higher yield account and a regular savings. A money market would be a higher yield, or in other words, a bit higher interest rate. Therefore, it's making a bit more money on your deposits. Now, for First Pioneers, this account requires a minimum $500 balance, and you can make up to 2 withdrawals a month without a fee. Beyond that, you would incur a small fee. Some people just frequently have a higher balance in their savings and they don't really have a need to access it often to withdraw from it. So this is a really great account for them to use. We can also go back to the car example. If you're saving up for a car and you plan to buy in, say, 6 months or less, this could be a great option to earn that extra interest while you save. Now, of course, there's some other options like CDs that we're going to talk about in just a minute, but those require agreeing to a term, so it may not really fit the need as well as a money market account would. So if you choose the money market, when you're ready to make your purchase, it's easy to access the account and make your withdrawal. And like I said, it's such a great option to consider if you have consistently higher savings balances. Another type of account available at First Pioneers is a Christmas Club account. These types of account have been around for years and they are just really handy to save for your Christmas shopping. But I'm not sure how often people consider it. And we've talked about holiday budgeting before, and this account, it really is perfect for helping you reach that goal. So the idea with the Christmas Club is that you put the money aside into your Christmas Club account all year long. Then on the first business day of November, we move that money from your Christmas Club account into your regular savings. So now you can access it and begin your holiday shopping. Withdrawing early from this account does come with a fee. So when you put that money aside, it's kind of not as easy to access. And that will hopefully help you keep from using the money on something else and then help you reach your holiday goals. Now, of course, you can use it on any of your holiday needs once it's transferred. And if you've done like we discussed before, you simply figure out how much you need for your holiday spending and then figure out how much to put back each month or each paycheck to cover that. How easy is that to use? It's also worth noting that some financial institutions offer things like vacation clubs that are similar to a Christmas club, similar terms. So if you need to save for a vacation, it might be worth inquiring about that type of account wherever it is that you bank. There's another type of account at First Pioneers that's actually a bit unique, and I really want to talk about this. It's called Lucky Lanyap. Now, of course, there are other credit unions in Louisiana that may offer it, but it's not available at any banks. Basically, you deposit money each month and you get a chance to win money. So for every $20 you deposit each month, your name is put in a drawing and you can have up to 5 entries. Then each month there's a drawing for $100 winners. There are 10 names pulled each month from the participating credit unions. There's also a quarterly drawing where there are two $1,000 prizes given. And lastly is a yearly prize of $5,000. So you really have a lot of opportunities to win. Let's talk about withdrawals on this one. Those can be made every 12 months without a fee incurred. I've seen a lot of people use these accounts for things like vacations or down payments, or they open one up for their child or their grandchild and just keep saving that money for them for their future. Then what I've seen a lot of them do is at their 12-month point, they transfer what they've saved each year into another savings account so that they can make it accessible, and then they just start over again. But think about it. That chance to win can really increase how much you end up saving. So it's a really fun account that gives you a unique way to save and maybe win. And when you're saving for something that you don't need to access really frequently, it's a great option. The next accounts we're going to talk about are CDs. Those have really much higher interest rates, but they also have terms or a length of time that you have to choose for your money to be in that account. So if you're saving for a house, let's say, and you have some money for a down payment, but it will be, say, a year before you buy, you could consider putting that money in a 12-month CD, and it will earn much more interest than a regular savings account. Then when the CD term is over, you can withdraw the money and use it for your down payment. You can also put money back that you might use in your retirement years or to pay for college for a child. And there are various terms for CDs. They often start at about 6 months and can be as long as 5 years. It depends on the financial institution as to what the terms or the rates that will be available to you. I mean, just because one credit union offers a particular rate, it doesn't mean others will have the same rate. So be aware of that before you open your account. You can always ask about the rates and the terms. We actually did an episode on CDs in season 1. So if you want to know more about the different kinds and ways you can invest with CDs, I encourage you to check that out. The thing that I've noticed that a lot of people don't seem to know is that the deposit amount for a CD can be as little as $1,000. I feel like there are people that think, a CD is just out of reach. You have to have a really large sum of money to open an account like that, but that's simply not true. So if you have those larger amounts of money that can sit for a longer period of time, a CD is really worth looking into. You can absolutely make more in interest than you would on a regular savings account. The last type of account I want to talk about is an IRA. IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. Now, these are tax advantaged accounts, meaning that you don't have to pay tax on the money as it grows. You either pay tax before you contribute to the account or after you withdraw from it. It actually depends on the type of account you choose. There's more than one type of IRA, traditional, Roth, and education. Let's start with traditional. This is a way to save for retirement that gives you those tax advantages, because generally the amounts in your traditional IRA that include your earnings and your gains are not taxed until you take a distribution or withdrawal from the IRA. And if your employer doesn't offer a 401k for you to use for retirement, this is a great way to save for retirement yourself. Next is a Roth IRA, which is an account where you contribute after tax dollars. Your contributions and your earnings can grow tax-free, and you can withdraw them tax-free and penalty-free after age 59 and a half, and once the account has been open for 5 years. Lastly is an education IRA. This is a tax-advantaged account for qualified education expenses. Education IRAs let parents and guardians finance a child's elementary, secondary, and higher education costs. Now, of course, depending on your child's age and when you're getting started, this could be a great way to save for their education. So, as you can see, there are so many options for you to save. Generally, it's just as simple as finding an account that works for you and your needs, then setting up a plan for your deposits or your contributions to that account. I mean, having an emergency fund, a way to save for a special event or a purchase, saving for your future. These are all goals that will help you be more financially successful. My bonus tip this time for you is if you haven't started saving, start. Find a way. If you're looking at your budget thinking, I don't have any extra money coming out of my paycheck, maybe you can bring your coffee one more day a week or bring your lunch one more day a week and then take that money that you would have spent and start putting it in a savings account. It may be $5, $10 at a time. Every little bit helps. Every little bit starts getting you into that habit of saving. And saving is a great thing for your future. And of course, as always, if you have questions about what account is right for you, or maybe you need a hand setting up a new account, contact us at either branch and we'll be happy to help you get that moving. Welcome to our Employee Spotlight segment of our podcast. Here at First Pioneers, we're a big family and we want you guys to get to know ours. And today we have Shelby as our guest. Hi, Shelby.
Hello.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Well, my name is Shelby. I am a teller at First Pioneers. I've been here a little under 6 months and I'm enjoying it so far. I think it'll get better as we go on.
Awesome. And we're so glad you're here. Okay, so let's get to your questions. I understand that you are binging a podcast. Tell me about this podcast.
So it's called Morbid and it's all about true crime. So Elena and Ash will go over stories of, I mean, some of them go really far back and some of them are pretty recent, but it's all true crime. Everything has happened. So I get really sucked into that one. It's a lot of murder and mystery, so it is morbid. But people also send in their own like listener tales. So things that have happened to the listeners, they'll send in their stories and they'll read them on the podcast. And I'm kind of like hoping something happens to me so I can send them a story. Like not too bad though, not too weird.
That is so neat. And I love how true crime stuff seems to really be growing in popularity. We have some other people here at the credit union, that includes myself, that enjoy true crime stuff. There's just something about those stories that just kind of suck you in and you have to know what happened and what's gonna happen. So yeah, that is
well. So like if they're a good storyteller, it makes it so much better and like it's a much smoother ride, I feel like, if you know how to tell a story. So
I agree. That's pretty fun. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I haven't found that one yet, so I'm gonna go check it out. Okay, so next, what is your favorite TV show?
So I have watched Blacklist twice, and I'm now on the third rerun of watching this extremely long series. So I guess it's safe to say that I enjoy it very much. I'm not binging anything else. That kind of it takes up all my time. It really does. I did like the Queen's Gambit. That was really good. I watched that one twice. But I'm always back in Blacklist. I don't know what it is. It just kind of has a hold on me, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good show. I don't think I've watched all of it, but I think I watched the first 2 seasons and it really is a great show. It holds your attention and you want to know what's going to happen. Yeah.
You
That's
never know what's gonna happen. You think you do, but you don't. So
yeah.
I think that's what I like the most about it is even rewatching it, I'm still like, oh, I didn't remember that, or I'll catch something that I didn't catch the time before. And it just continues to interest me. So I keep watching it.
That's the mark of a great show though, that can bring you in even when you've already seen it and you kind of know what's going to happen. That's really cool. That's a good show. Okay, and last but not least, tell me something on your bucket list.
I want to go to Salem. I want to go to Massachusetts. I want to do some tours and see the scary stuff and hear all the stories that they have to tell about everything that's happened in the area, because it's prominent in the fact that it's well known, right, for the Halloween vibes, and that's my favorite holiday. I love Halloween. So I want to go hear about the witches and the warlocks, and I want to hear about, everything that went down in Salem and see what's actually true as to what people have told us, I guess you could say. Like, you hear the stories, but I want to hear them from someone up close and personal who's actually been around in this area and knows what they're talking about, and not just like hearsay kind of stories. Like, I want to hear the true stuff.
Yeah.
I want to hear your side of it, because we only get so much down here. Like, if somebody told me something, I'm half inclined to believe them, if it's in relation to that kind of thing. But if somebody from that area were to tell me something, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'm listening. I know what you're picking up what you're putting down. I want to know. It just seems more genuine from someone from the area. And I've always wanted to visit, so I think I will soon.
That would be fun. It's true. You hear really neat things about the place, and plus I hear it's really pretty, not besides the other parts of it. But yeah, there's a long history of all kinds of things that happen in the Salem area. So I agree. That would be a fun trip.
That's when I want to go, in the fall.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And when you go, I want to hear all about it and I want to see all the pictures. So
Oh, definitely.
okay. Well, thanks so much for being here today. I've really enjoyed talking with you, and I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed it as well. And for everyone listening, we will see you next time.
And thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening today. We hope you found this information helpful, and we'd love it if you'd give us a rating. And don't forget to favorite or subscribe to the show. There are several ways you can find us if you need further information or you need to speak with a financial counselor. You can visit us in person in Lafayette or New Iberia, Louisiana, or you can find us at firstpioneers.com. There you can find out how to become a member of our family and find out other financial information. Be sure and check out the show notes for important links and other information. And as always, we're here to help in any way that we can. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.